Hi guys, welcome back. Today is a follow-up video. I've been so excited about this one actually. And it is a follow-up to a video I did during the summer. And it was all about understanding and knowing what your skin type is, but also how you figure it out. So the star of the show was a test by a company called Skin Trust Club. And their sole objective is to help people, me and you, to reach and to maintain a healthy microbiome. So if you haven't seen that video, I'm going to put a link up here, and I'll also put a link in the description bar below because I really think you should check it out. So these guys deliver a test to your home where you do the quick test and you send it back to their labs for analysis. There are two very interesting things that I learned back then. The first is that 65% of us get this wrong. When we say we know what our skin type is, apparently we do not. The second thing was that I was one of them, because I totally got it wrong. Because if we don't get our skin type right, it's quite possible that we're using the wrong products. We could be using the wrong products, we could be using the wrong steps in our routine, and we could actually be doing more harm than good. So when I took this test, I was pretty darn confident that my skin was relatively normal, balanced, but skewing dehydrated. See, I don't have oily skin, I don't have super dry skin, it's not flaky, it's not patchy. For the most part, it's pretty okay. But the results told me something totally different. They told me I was oily. And honestly, I thought they were wrong. But, science don't lie. So the test is super easy. They have everything in the box that you need. You swab the outside of your cheek, you put it back into a little test tube, and you send it off to their labs. And it takes about, 2 or 3 weeks to get the results back, and all of that will come through the app. So before you even take the test, you download the app, and the app walks you through everything so you know what to do. And then when your results are in, they will send all of that to you through the app. So when the results are in, they are going to give you a breakdown of the bacteria that they have tested for on your skin. Now, we all have it. We all have a variety of bacteria. Some of them are good, some of them are bad, and some of them are neutral. So when they're all living harmoniously together, that means we have balanced skin. But if the scale starts tipping and one bacteria is taking over, then that leads to unbalanced skin. So that means you're either going to skew oily or dry depending on which bacteria it is. So it all starts off with a number. When you open up that app for the first time, it's going to give you a number between 1 and 100. And just so you know, what we're trying to get to is 100, because that means you're perfectly balanced. Now, if you're between 80 and 100, it means you're doing well. That's the territory we're aiming for. But I came in at 67. That is not great. I swear I nearly died. Like, how can a girl who spends a lot of time on skincare and even has a channel in which she speaks about it be so incredibly wrong about her skin? Well, she was. So I found it really interesting that they started to break down the bacteria, and they were explaining to me why my skin was oily. I'm not going to go into all those details because I did put it in that other video. But what it did give me were some things to do to improve my score, some things that I could do, some modifications that I could make to my routine or to my products in order to improve the balance of my skin. So there were essentially two key things that I did. One is I started to exfoliate regularly. Now, I had run into trouble, about a year before this, which is what led me to the Skin Trust Club in the first place, is that I had to back off all of my actives because I ran into overstimulation issues. So I stopped everything, including regular exfoliation. So this taught me I needed to get back on that train because I needed to get rid of the dead skin that was trapping the oils under my skin. That was item number one. The second thing, and the one that was probably the hardest, was to change the type of products that I was using. I have more mature skin. I'm almost 52, so I like occlusive, heavy, thick creams. Clearly, that is not what my little old skin needed. So I started using products that were specifically geared towards oily skin. That was a big shift for me. I was very pleasantly surprised that there are products out there that are geared towards oily skin that worked perfectly for my skin. Now, I did start doing a third thing. It didn't say this anywhere in there because they wouldn't have known it, but I'm a serial mister. I had these things everywhere. I was misting all the time, and I just decided to lay off that just to see if there was any difference or any impact. So I started exfoliating regularly. I switched my skincare towards products that were designed for oily skin, like a foaming wash. Oh my God, it was just against my being to use a foaming wash, but I used a really good one by Blur London, so that was fine. And I just used lighter moisturizers, and that got me really through the bulk of last year as well, except into winter when it got a little bit drier. But all in all, I was able to make the adjustment, which really surprised me. Then I tested again 3 months later. I wanted to see, was my number going to change? What's my number? My number was 90. So I moved from a 67 to a 90 just by making a few subtle changes to my routine. So that meant my skin was balanced. Huge sigh of relief. But then I started to look at the app. They did a major update since the first time that I tested. They have revamped the website, but more importantly, they revamped the app, and it came with a lot more information that I found incredibly useful. First of all, there's a lot more detail about the condition, whether you're balanced, oily, or dry. It gives a lot more information about what's actually happening in your skin. And it's funny because then I went back and, I compared both of the reports, the one from the first one in the summer and then the second one, which was in September. And I could see that there was a lot more information even for the old report than there was the first time around. The breakdown that it gives you on each of the individual bacteria I found was really, really interesting. And then they give an overview of some of the key bacterium. What I found really interesting is they segmented them into protective, disruptive, or neutral. In my first test, 89% of the bacteria were disruptive, but in the second test, almost 92% were protective. So that means the bacteria that's just doing a lot of the good stuff, because our skin is here to protect us, right? That's its job. So you want more protective bacteria there because they're going to be doing a better job. So when I hit that 90, that means there's a lot more of the good stuff on my face. Then there were other things in here that I thought were really helpful. One is they look at the environment. They're testing air pollution to see if there's an impact on your skin. And they had a couple of things in here that I wasn't sure was specifically for me because of my age or were just generic, but one of them is talking about collagen production and how that starts to really skew by the time you get to my age. And they had a section there for people in their 50s and looking at hormones and how that can have an impact on your skin. But for me, the most interesting thing now, aside from my number, is this consideration of ingredients. This was an upgrade. They didn't have this before. And they said, here are the types of ingredients that are going to be good, bad, and whatever for your skin. And I found that really, really helpful. So for example, they're telling me to lay off the shea butter, the cocoa butter, and the avocado oil, which was a little sad because I love all of those things so much, but I suppose they're probably geared for people that have drier skin. Then they told me to focus and make sure I incorporate things like vitamin C, lactic acid, squalane, and rosehip oil, all of which I have in my routine. But I thought that was so interesting. And then they have these neutral ones that it doesn't matter whether you use them or not. But I think that's probably one of the most valuable things out of here is saying, we're always, it's so easy to just throw a bunch of stuff at our face. And even if you know a lot about ingredients and what they do, how they're sort of put together isn't always the same. And some things just aren't going to be good for different skin types. Then the last bit that I thought was really helpful is it gives you the optimum morning and evening skincare routine. So sort of thing, here are the steps that you need to do. Now the first one did that too. And I did find that helpful. Again, for exfoliation was one of the key parts for me. And they make some recommendations for products in case you don't know where to go. And all of the products that they align themselves with or they're recommending are going to be ones that are solely focused on, promoting a healthy microbiome. So for me, my goal is to do this every 3 months. I'm a little bit behind because of the holidays and all that stuff. So the new one is in the mail. I'm going to take that one again and I'm going to do it regularly because our skin changes. It's never just one thing. And sure, I can see that because I just did 2 tests and I went from 67 oily to 90 and balanced. But there are so many things that can impact our skin and its condition. We're talking about stress, the environment, hormones, food, exercise, sleep. All of these things can have an impact on the bacteria on our face. So since I've discovered Skin Trust Club, all I ever want to know is what's my number. What's my number? Okay, so where can you get this? I will put all the details on this down below. This ordinarily retails for 119. I can only look at this in euros because of where I am. They do have a sale on right now that is 79 euros. And then I contacted them and they have given me a discount of 30%. So if you use SOM30, you can get 30% off. Now this is good. As far as I know, it's certainly Europe and the US. I'm not sure if it goes any further afield. I don't think it does to Australia or anything, but if you're in those regions, you should be good to go. So if you have not tried Skin Trust Club, I think you should. I think everybody should know their skin type because if you're like me and you're into these kind of products, you want to make sure you're putting the right stuff on your face. And I got it wrong and I've been doing this for years. So if I can get it wrong, everybody can get it wrong and probably we are getting it wrong. So I think you should do it. Just saying. I think it's great. I hope you enjoyed today's video. Thank you so much for tuning in today and thank you for making it this far. And please do give this video a thumbs up if you've enjoyed what you've seen. And have you tried this? Are you going to try it? I'd really like to hear your thoughts on this and what your skin type is. So leave any comments for me down below because I do love hearing from you. And I look forward to seeing you in the next video. Bye.
All about your digits, Mary, yeah?
All about my digits. What are my digits?
Your number.
Oh, it's all about my number. The higher, the better.
Uh-huh.
I thought that was it. Oh, Mary, that was really bad. I thought that's what the face was.
No, just
plow on. Okay. I'm going to back that up. Okay. Can you do that? Really sorry.